Hey, Devin Rose, Lionheart Catholic. I want to share with you 4 key financial principles that will help you make sense of the economy and your own personal finances. I have figured these out and learned about them sort of one at a time here and there, and they've really helped me. So we'll begin with Triffin's dilemma. This is an interesting one, and it's the country who prints the world reserve currency must run an ever increasing trade deficit to supply, in this case, dollars to the world for trade purposes and for foreign countries to own those reserves as dollars. Hence, we as the US have a huge trade deficit that's always growing. We essentially export dollars and we get to import commodities and cheap goods made elsewhere. And so you'll often hear, oh, people lamenting the trade deficit. Well, the trade deficit's baked in to the US supplying the world reserve currency. This is called Triffin's paradox or Triffin's dilemma. And this is why the Federal Reserve raising rates and doing quantitative tightening, shrinking their balance sheet, is causing such a problem in countries outside the US. Powell, who's at the head of the Federal Reserve, answers primarily to the US commercial banking system. And so he prioritizes those interests over Davos, Biden, World Economic Forum, globalist interests. So the Fed, by raising rates, is protecting the US banking interests over the European globalists. Ultimately, Triffin's dilemma, we're seeing kind of the end of it play out, right? It leads ultimately to a problem that can't be solved, because if we prioritize US domestic interests at the expense of the world has problems. If we do the opposite, the US has problems. So there's sort of no solution to that. All right, let's jump to the Cantalon Effect. This is an interesting one as well. The Cantalon Effect basically says those closest to the source of the money spigot that gets printed benefit more than those who get access to that money downstream. So when the Fed prints money, it doesn't go into your pocket, of course. The first groups who get access to it are basically those in the big banking cartels. Only much later does some small fraction of that new currency make its way to you. And by then, the effect of the new currency has rippled out into the system. And for example, there may already have been houses purchased with that new currency, or bonds purchased, or stocks purchased. And so by the time you kind of get trickled down any of that currency, it's already caused consumer price inflation and asset inflation. So those new dollars actually buy less than they would have due to inflation. So that's the Cantalon Effect. It's better be closest to the source of the money spigot. Of course, you're not close to it, nor am I, nor will we ever be. Gresham's law, this is a cool one. Bad money drives out good money. Bad money drives good money into hiding. An example of this, paper currency, which is bad money, drive out gold and silver, which is considered hard money. That means people will spend the paper currency and they'll hoard the gold and silver because they know that gold and silver are hard money. And people intuitively know that gold and silver are more valuable than paper currency. The government controls the paper currency, prints it whenever they want, and it only has value because the government enforces laws that make people use it. Side note, people are coming to realize that Bitcoin is starting to sit alongside of gold as hard money and is preferable to a fiat currency. So that's Gresham's law. And it predates Bitcoin or anything like that. It might even predate most paper currencies, but it applies to them. All right, finally, the Lindy effect. This is kind of fun. It states that the future life expectancy of an idea or technology is proportional to how long it's been around so far. So take gold. Gold's been around since human existence. It will likely be around for millennia to come and beyond. Bitcoin's now been around, call it 12, 13 years. Every year that passes increases its chance of existing for years and decades to come. So all those predictions of Bitcoin going to zero and it going out, disappearing. Every year that goes by, due to the Lindy effect, the chances are it will continue to last even longer. So these are 4 principles to help you understand the macroeconomic landscape, and they're kind of key. They're key ideas that will help you to frame and understand what's happening. So yeah, this is Devin Rose Lionheart Catholic, and I share things on this channel that I think will help you as a Catholic. And that doesn't just involve supernatural topics, theology, apologetics, doctrine, but also, topics at the natural level, secular topics such as this. All right. God bless.